Welcome to In Case You Missed It on POPAFFAIR. This is where we discuss what's been happening in the week or in the month in case we're delayed, but definitely not denied. So let's get into it. So for those of you guys who haven't heard, there's a bit of celebration happening in India because the India's Supreme Court has ruled that triple talaq, which is instant divorce, is unconstitutional, and it's a landmark victory for Muslim women who've long argued that it's violated their right to equality. So basically what triple talaq is, it allows a Muslim man to divorce their wife by simply uttering the word talaq, 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 which means divorce or repudiation. So he's allowed to repudiate his wife. That can be done over the phone, face-to-face, Skype, or text message. And the lady that brought the case forward was Shayara Bano. She's a 35-year-old woman who petitioned the Supreme Court after her husband divorced her in 2015 by writing a letter that mentioned talaq, talaq, talaq. Other women joined the proceedings, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to hear what you guys thoughts on it. Also, the All Indian Muslim Personal Law Board said that they will contest the decision. So they basically said, because what happened was it was the Supreme Court, there were 5 judges on the benches, they were all male of different faiths, and 3 out of 5 said it was unconstitutional, which of course majority wins, but they're going to contest it. The Prime Minister of Modi did say he was in favor of it. He said the judgment of the Honourable Supreme Court on triple talaq is historic and it grants equality to Muslim women and is a powerful measure for women and empowerment. So, what do you guys think?
So you're saying that they're going to get rid of it?
They've already gotten rid of it. So they've said that it's unconstitutional. So in India, basically, like religious institutions, they dictate like marriages, laws, like kind of civil courts.
Isn't that just like in the Western country as well?
In the Western country, the government does. So under the Constitution, marriage...
Do they?
Yeah, it's the government. In India, basically, it's religious institutions that govern like civil code, like about marriages, deaths, and all that sort of stuff. Whereas in Australia, it's done by the government. The government prescribes like what are the legal documents that you need to do, what makes a legal divorce, what makes an unlegal divorce. That's all up to the government. So in India, they don't have a uniformed civil code. It's depending on the different religions. But in the Muslim faith, yeah, it's been banned in Saudi Arabia as well, this triple talaq. But yeah, so I don't know what you guys think. I was thinking about calling when as a joke, I was thinking about when I had a husband just to be like talaq, 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 and to go missing for like 3 months.
So what? Like, let me get this straight, right?
Yeah.
You know, I have never ever heard this before. Basically, if I'm married and I'm like, I want to divorce my wife, I can just say those 3 words in any other, in any means. It could be in a letter, it could be in a text message, and that's it.
Yeah, 3 times. Talaq, talaq, talaq.
Yeah. That's just.
Let me just ask, what about if a woman does it to the husband? Does it even mean anything?
No, the woman is not, I'm pretty sure, if we do have any Muslim, listeners, I'm pretty sure it's not a woman. So the thing is, the basis of the law is that when women get married, they sort of give like a dowry kind of thing to the husband. And they give loans to the husband. So if you divorce your wife, you have to give all that dowry back. But I think it's a little bit like African culture where if you give the dowry back, obviously the kids belong to the husband. Unless the husband is a deadbeat and just, run scot-free. So the law thought that because of the amount of money that the husbands would have to pay, they wouldn't do it. But of course, that was back in the day. In this day and age, people don't really care. Like, who's going to enforce it? Do you know what I mean? So that's why they thought, that's why it's only for men. And you don't have to give a reason. The reason why they didn't want to you didn't have to justify it was because if you justified it, they didn't want people spreading their business out on the streets. That's why you just say talaq, 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 and you don't have to justify it.
So interesting. Imagine if you could do that with your job. I just told me, boss.
And you were done?
Yep.
So, Martin, obviously, you're the only guy in this. What do you think?
No, I think, I know that, we're in 2017 and we're still objectifying, women. And I don't know. I find it absurd that, you can just divorce your wife by just saying 3 words and that's it. You know, you could have been married to this person for like 40 years and what? There's going to be no excuse. Like, you're not going to explain why you're divorcing her. You're just going to say 3 words and just walk off. Because if I have to reverse it the other way around, I would probably want to know why this person is divorcing me, you know. I'm not going to be satisfied by just 3 words, you know, and she's off, and I've been with this person for like maybe 10 years. Maybe I wanted to know what it is that I've done wrong in the marriage, what it is that I would have done, what it is that I would have fixed, what it is that I would have dropped, you know. So obviously, if you just get dropped by just 3 words, it's painful. You're probably not going to recover from it because in the first place, you don't actually know what happened.
Definitely.
So I'm glad that they removed it, to be honest.
No,
well,
definitely.
males may be offended with what I'm going to say. However, my idea behind this little, whatever it is that it's about male power against the woman, because there's nothing that shows that this rule can be used by both parties. It's basically, you know, it's used by a male, firstly. Secondly, the male drops you like a bag of potatoes and then moves on, you know, without even giving you any reasons. And then thirdly, I don't know, I can't even think of the, you know, third reason. To me, the whole idea of it is just male power. There's nothing to it.
And I think you brought up a really great point, because that's what I was thinking when I thought about it. I was like, well, yeah, like there's some laws which back in the day made sense if you were living in that era. But unfortunately, there's some things where a minority use it to their advantage. Do you know what I mean? Like, they kind of, some people go overboard. Like, for example, if Hungry Jack says, oh, let's have free refills, all of a sudden people pay their $2 and they're there from morning to sunset as if they don't have a home.
A free refill. And they did used to do that with the ice creams and the drinks, you know. They used to do that, and there used to be, you know, people there who would sit there, I don't know, and said, I just had one refill, I'm trying to you know.
So that's the way I see this, where it makes sense to me, like, okay, if you want, you shouldn't divorce your wife in this manner. I mean, if it's your religion, do you? But like, a lot of people would use it in an incorrect way, because we live in a, as Martin said about, we live in a sort of like fast-paced world, whereas marriage wasn't meant to be fast-paced. It wasn't I dump you today.
I mean,
and then
it's basically the modernized version of a divorce. You know, because it's just like saying, honey, I want a divorce. And then, but because of, you know, the Western rule, things come into it. There's legal actions that come into it, you know? And legal actions are always taken into play.
I don't know. They're using things to take things to their advantage rather than the intended purpose of it.
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
no, I do get it.
What?
Like, there are laws in place, but people take advantage of the laws. So they just end up having, like what we said about in Adelaide, where they had the ice cream and the free refills, or in Subway.
Yeah, the freedom.
And people just, I swear, sat there from morning up to sunset as if they couldn't buy like a $2 bottle of Fanta at Coles. Take the bottle home. And then, of course, Hungry Jacks had to get rid of it. And I suppose this is the talaq.
Here's the thing. I swear I saw a person with a bottle,
sleeping,
a 1 liter empty bottle, to go and refill it.
I don't know. Do you guys remember Sunday Market in Adelaide?
Yeah.
You know how you go to that Chinese show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not Sunday Market. You're not talking about that. You're talking about, what's the one in the city?
Chinatown.
Chinatown, Victoria Market. Victoria Market. Victoria Market. Oh my God, yes.
Went there with a bucket and the whole bucket with chicken, and it's like, that's not self-service anymore. You're just emptying this stuff.
What's that called? That's not called self. What's that? That's called, I'm just checking out on my potential investment. No, actually, one time I was there.
$6.
One time I was there, the Asian lady literally was like, no, you put back. That's too much.
Because we're not grabbing plates anymore. We're grabbing.
Because he literally had his plate, and he had like the the thing you get at Macca's, like the trays. Yeah, he had a tray. He was filling his tray with the food, and the lady, she must have snapped. It must have happened to her all day. She was like, no, enough. You put back. No. And the guy was up just sitting there like, I didn't like eating there anyway because the food wasn't like nice. Like it was nice.
Do not diss all you can eat self-serve place.
Oh, sorry.
The chicken was fantastic.